Gas Network presents sports for the culture.
I'm here with the family.
Bryce, XXV, Double I,
Rome,
D-Malo,
Gruff Lion.
T-Buggy, man.
Just the greatest sports show on the planet. La Familia. Hope y'all ready for a ride.
Can't wait to hear what you guys got to say.
Yes, we are back. The greatest sports show on the planet. Gas presents sports for the culture. I am your host tonight at Bryce XXV Double I. As always, I got the dream team with me. Start with my guy with the specs on tonight. Bottom left, introduce yourself.
Hey man, T Boogie, aka Blue Frame Boogie tonight, baby. Y'all know what it is. Wash your hands, wash your ass, man. I every time my Niners lose, I don't got too much to say. So with that being said, let's have a good show.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna get into some NFL topics, and we definitely gonna mention your Niners. Bottom right, introduce yourself.
The only team that matters right now in New York City is the New York motherfucking Yankees. And I would just like to start some beef that started back in the 90s. Fuck everything about the West Coast. Fuck your tree branches. Fuck y'all women. Fuck y'all butt-ass weed. And fuck the LA Dodgers. You know what? Y'all so scared of the East Coast that y'all went over there to the West Coast. Now look at y'all. Y'all ain't going to beat us because we got El Capitan, Judge. And then shout out to the Nationals for giving us Juan Soto 2 years later, even though we had to get him out of the West to bring up at the East. And then we have Giancarlo Stanton, man. We're going to win, baby. We're going to win. Yankees in 5, baby. You heard it here first. Yankees in cinco.
Yo, D Money, I'm with you, bro. I'm happy for G, man. He needed this because if he didn't have this right now, who knows where his life would be, man? Who knows?
I'll be fucking probably hanging from a tree at this point, watching Daniel Jones playing, man. Fucking cocksucker over there, man. Man, let me get started. And I got to watch Saquon throw up 175 yards with some ugly dookie green color. Man, listen, man. It's some bullshit.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Last but not least, top right, introduce yourself.
What up, man? Scruff. Man, tough ending to that Bucks game, man. Corey Godwin, who has been the number one pickup for my fantasy team this year, man. Tough injury, bro. And G, man, secretly becoming an Eagles fan, man. I seen him like the Eagles post, the John where Saquon said, they was like, yeah, you're 18 yards away from the record. He said, yeah, no, man, go ahead, let the young boys eat. Yeah, G was like, man, but Saquon, he's such a good guy, man. You know. Yeah, I know you miss him, G, but that's what happens when you're cheap.
Man, G, you was hurt, huh, man? I didn't know you was out here liking the enemy's social media posts. It's a little wild, G. It's a wild accusation.
That's cap. Stop the
It's
cap.
not cap. I got the screenshots.
That's Capital Records over there. Damn, you sound worse than my bitch.
Well, I'll tell you what,
the
screenshots are accessible. They'll be on the Gas Twitter shortly.
What does my life come down to? My friends giving green screenshots at me, liking shit. This is what my life come down to.
Bro, this is literally coming from the guy who shares a photo of me in the group chat every chance he can.
That's the best picture I ever got. This is the greatest picture. The greatest picture you ever get of Bryce.
All right, let's get into it, fellas. Let's start with some of these. Let's get into some
Ragu.
Look, first one I want us to get into. I want to start on the NBA side, man. The NBA season kicked off tonight. First game, Boston, man. Just a blowout against the Knicks. Embarrassed the Knicks. Right now, LA and the Timberwolves are playing as we speak. Lakers versus Timberwolves. And a big moment just happened. And I want to get you guys real-time reaction on it. Bronny James and LeBron James checked in the game together midway through the second quarter. And shared that moment that we all knew was coming at some point, that moment that, literally was the point of him coming to the Lakers, right, to have the father-son duo on the court together. And in real time, right, we were watching this before the show started. And I said, Hey, if Bronny comes into the game and he just subs out somewhat immediately, I'm gonna feel like this is all some bullshit, right? I feel like it's not really like it's not. It's a little phony to me if that's the case, right? Now, if he earned his spot in the rotation and y'all playing him, awesome, right? Eventually, maybe he earned a spot in the rotation at some point during the season, and boom, it happens. But for it to be forced and it to not be organic at all, I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about this, man. I want to get you guys' opinion here. How do we feel about LeBron and Bronny sharing the court for the same time? Are we buying it or selling it? Is it real or phony? T, I'm gonna start with you.
I mean, it's real phony, man. But it's real phony. It's real. We live in a time where, saying the fake is the real. The real is the fake. So, it sounds like you're talking in circles, but if you really out here living, you know what I mean. Like, bro, he didn't deserve to be in the league. Didn't deserve to be in the game, but they made a moment out of it. They made content. That's really what this is about. They're making content right now. It's a magical moment. It's about LeBron is in his legacy years, right? He's everything he does now is for legacy. It's for him to be above Kobe or above Jordan, or the people behind him can't catch him. So he checked one off the list that no one's going to be able to say, and at least in my lifetime, that they got to hoop with their son. You know what I'm saying? Melo kids hooping, Arenas kids hooping. It's a couple guys that play with LeBron. The kids are hooping, but LeBron made it happen. And you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Nepo hooper.
Nepo Hooper's crazy, but I like one of the things that you said there, man. I think it was interesting. You said that they're just creating content. A couple weeks back, man, I posted something on Twitter where I was like, the word content is used way too loosely now. And I think you replied to it, T. We kind of had a little conversation about content and how that word's being used, but I think you used it perfectly there. It's like, it's more about creating content than it is creating good basketball for sure, right? I think we've seen that, in a lot of different ways in some of these professional leagues. And it's like, it really bends the line, or there's like a thin line between that, like, entertainment versus, like, wrestling. Like, is this real sports entertainment, or is this like more like wrestling? You know what I'm saying? Where it's like not scripted per se, but y'all just giving me something, to keep me going. You're not giving me the best product of the sport, right? I think we're seeing that in a lot of aspects. I think, like, I don't know, man. The more and more I think we go on this show, I think I'm gonna start kind of pointing out when it's just, hey, this is just for content and not necessarily for for the love of the game, or for the sake of the game, I should say.
For the betterment.
There you go. Yeah, for the betterment, exactly. And I think a perfect example of this is like how they do in the NFL, where they just flex a game, right? The game was supposed to be 1 p.m. Bama's done playing they Sunday out for weeks, right? They bought a ticket to the game, 1 p.m. game. Then all of a sudden, the league says, this is some good content. Make it 8:20. It's like, so what? I guess so what for the people that bought a ticket for their kid, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All of that matters, man. All of that matters, man. But yeah, honestly, I think it's iconic. It's iconic, man. It's iconic for several reasons, man. The moments like this will feed generations. This will carry basketball into the 3015s, because, like, you know what I mean? What we're seeing here is going to drive engagement to the game. What we're seeing here is going to get fathers and sons out to the basketball court. What we're seeing here is something that's iconic, in the sense that, yeah, maybe it's a LeBron James accomplishment. If you want to discredit Bronny, that's fine. But at the very least, you got to give LeBron credit for being an NBA dad, and being a dad, and being an NBA player while being a dad, and raising the kid up to be good enough to be in the league. So I think it's a great accomplishment, and I think you could argue that maybe Bronny shouldn't have been drafted, but, like, he was all McDonald's All-American as well. So cats like that usually do get a flower in the league, and doesn't help his last name, as like I said, but it'll feed generations because of what it means, and I think it'll be good for the game. I do think it is better for the game.
All right. G, what you think about this Bronny and LeBron sharing the court together, man? Are you give me fake? What did I say, real or phony? What you think?
technically this shit can't be fake. It's there. This ain't the Matrix. I'm not taking a red or blue pill at this point in my life. I'm fucking doing drugs that hard. Pause. But no, you guys know I'm a LeBron apologist on the show. I'm a big LeBron fan. I like it because at the end of the day, this is something it's like what T alluded to earlier. We're never gonna see this again. And a little bit what Nick says, like, yo, it's a part of the game now. You gotta respect it for what it is. And we're forgetting this is the Lakers we're talking about. What's the one thing that these guys like to give us? Entertainment in sports. These are literally the WWE of the basketball world. The Lakers, Showtime. You know, they gave us a show on HBO Max, alluding to the Magic Johnson era for the first 2 seasons. So it's the Lakers. Like, you know, they have to give us something to start the season. Because technically speaking, most of us don't give a fuck about basketball until Christmas time. And now that the NFL took that away from the NBA world, it's like, you got to start getting these viewership for us to start watching. Now they're going to have us craving something. Now we're going to want more minutes with Bronny James, knowing damn well this man should not be on the court. knowing that, what T call it? Neppy ball, whatever the fuck. What's the new word?
Nepo hooper, man.
There you go. The new terminology of kids like this. And luckily, I think he's going to be only one of the fewest kids that get to experience this. Like, everybody else is going to be like, well, I know we understood your dad was great, but he really has that much word or power in this organization right now. We're gonna take our time with you if you're not that kind of an athlete. So now it's good. It's good for the sport, at least for basketball right now, because they're gonna want us to start watching now. They got to go against the World Series on their opening weekend, and because that now is the Dodgers and like I said, the Yankees, and now you got the NFL on Thursday nights. And then you have the NFL on Sundays and Monday nights. So the NBA is trying to fit in. And then now they also got to try to take away from the hockey world. Because this is all in the mix of right now. The best time for sports. So you got to like it. You got to love it. And if you're a basketball fan, this is something that's going to gravitate for you to start talking more about basketball.
I see what you're getting at, G. Kind of like, hey, the NBA's got to compete right now. So they're using this, they're propping this up to be able to compete. And I definitely can see that too. Something about what you were explaining got me thinking about Bronny's possible longevity in the league, right? And, you know, obviously he's tied to LeBron right now, right? Because, you know, we will all admit that he only on the team because LeBron's there. But if Bronny's able to carve out a career for himself, then it kind of puts the whole, like, nepotism thing to rest. And what I mean by carving out a career is, like, if Bronny is able to maintain a career in the NBA without being on LeBron's team, then I feel like everyone's kind of got to respect it. So that brings me to my next question for you guys. I want to do an over-under on Bronny's career. Are we giving – because, I mean, LeBron's 40, right? So let's just say LeBron, at max, he's got – let's say max he's got 5 years in him. That's like the ultimate max, right? So under that assumption, over-under 5-year career – for Bronny in the NBA.
So are you saying the maximum regular what's average for?
No, basically what I'm saying is LeBron James probably has 5 more years left, right? At max. Let's say his body holds up.
What you're trying to do is he's going to have that able to get past that first contract, right?
No, listen. But what I want to know is he going to have longer? Is Bronny going to be in the league? Yeah, is he going to surpass LeBron's, final?
You're saying after LeBron retires, how much time does Bronny remain?
No, I'm not even asking how much time does he have. What I'm asking is LeBron probably has about 5 years left. Over under on Bronny's career, 5-year NBA career. Do we think Bronny makes it past a 5-year NBA career? We'll start with you, Scrub. Over under 5 years on Bronny James' NBA career.
I mean, based on the numbers, bro, I'm gonna have to go under for now.
All right, T. Over under 5 years on Bronny James' career.
Under for Bronny and Bron. They're not playing 5 years.
Yeah, I feel like 5.
Yeah, I mean, Bron, that was just like the absolute max, right? So I'm taking the absolute max he could possibly.
Nobody, they both of them not making 5 years.
So we're saying Bronny does not have a 5-year career. G, what do you think?
Because I see LeBron being done with the league next year because it'll be his 23rd year. I say he's gonna finish out his rookie contract. If he can't be like the boy with the man with all the biggest shoe collection. What's his name? He played for the Bucks in Houston.
Tucker.
Oh yes, if he could be defensively like old boy, then yeah, he could be in the league for another 5 years. But if he doesn't become an all around defensive player, then nah, man.
Oh damn, he's got a
3
4-year
years.
deal. Okay.
I'm gonna go 5 years.
season.
I'm gonna take the over on Bronny, bro. Because I think Bronny makes it 5 years in the league. And I think that LeBron's gonna push to play with both sons, is my belief. So I think LeBron's gonna really push to get his other son in the league while he's still there. Have all three of them on the team at the same time. And I think what I've seen from Bronny athletically, I think he'll be able to carve out a role, bro. I feel like the NBA is about mastering your role, and I think Bronny's gonna understand that. With LeBron as his father, I think Bronny will understand that sooner and better than most young players. I think he'll be able to find a role in the NBA and kind of master that role. Maybe as a seventh man, eighth man, but I can see it happening. So let's move on, man. I want to move on, stick in the NBA, and I want to stay on another team that played tonight, the Celtics. I talked about it briefly, how the Celtics blew out the New York Knicks earlier. Somewhat embarrassing considering it's the first game of the NBA season. You'd like to see a little more energy if you're a Knicks fan out of your team, but it is what it is. But T mentioned in the group chat that Boston is running it back. And honestly, if you base it off of the game we saw tonight, I would say that there's a pretty good chance we base off that game, right? But there's 82 of these, and a lot will change by the 82nd game. So when T said that, basically, he didn't guarantee it, but he said there's a good chance Boston runs it back. I said I'm taking the field. So my question for you guys is, and feel free to elaborate on this, is it Boston or the field this year? Who are you going with? G, we're going to start with you.
Oh, man, fuck the Knicks, man. The Knicks ain't getting past no fucking second round in the playoffs anyways. Bum-ass motherfuckers. But besides the hate for the Knicks that I got, we haven't seen in the NBA any repeats besides did Golden State get to repeat?
I think they did, yeah.
Did they?
Yeah.
Besides,
KD, right?
No.
Well, besides Golden State, no, I don't see Boston repeating because health is a big thing. I know that the league gave Jaylen Brown some gas so he could start killing people for the way they treated him in the Olympics and not inviting him. Nah, I can't see Boston repeating. For me, it's the Bucks winning this year, but nah, I take the field. The smart man will tell you take the field.
The Bucks, G? That's what you got?
Yeah.
It's the stupidest shit I ever heard.
What are you gonna say? The Sixers, Mister? I can't do back-to-back games.
No, that's not what I was gonna say. I'm gonna say this. When it comes to Boston, I would say is it the field? I'll take the field. Give me the field. Boston did look pretty good though. So I mean, everyone else, the field's gonna have to show me who's really the true, contender that can go against Boston in the East, particularly. And I think it's going to come down to New York and Philly. Right now, based on what I've seen in New York, they're going to need some more time, dog. Now, in the West, that's why the biggest reason I take the field. I don't think Boston, if you give them another series against a Western Conference opponent, I don't know that they win that. I think Dallas was a very favorable matchup for them. OKC is knocking on the door, man. Timberwolves are knocking on the door. Denver, they've been there before. I wouldn't be shocked if Denver ended up back in it again too. So with those three teams, man, give me the field, man. Boston looked good, but it took them a lot of years to get there. So I don't see them getting right back. Yeah,
it's a good point. I think Boston's got a chance to be a dominant team again this year. I mean, they were a dominant team last year, right? And once you're a dominant team and you're a dominant team the whole regular season, then you cap it off with a championship. All right, now we got it. You really got to be on the radar for a possible dynasty in the making, right? And T, I feel like that's what you was getting at a little bit. So yeah, elaborating your point of taking Boston over the field right now.
I mean, like you said, man, when you got a really good team, not one supernova superstar or one guy that got hot in a playoff series. I mean, this team is legit, man. This is the most legit team to win since probably that Detroit Pistons team, who coincidentally won back-to-back, right?
Did they?
Ben Wallace, Chauncey Billups, Richard Hamilton, those guys, Tayshaun Prince. I think they won back-to-back, if I'm not
No, they
mistaken.
won one time. They went back to back, but they won one
Only
time.
one.
Oh, yeah, they only won one. Yeah.
Oh, they only won one? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, to my point, I think this group is better than that group. Because you got two young players, right? You got two guys that are like still peaking. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are still. I heard Jaylen Brown today talking about his spot on the next Olympic team. He has no plans on falling off. You know what I'm saying? Tatum is only getting better. The only real old piece that's falling apart maybe is Al Horford. They still got Porzingis. They blew the Knicks out without Porzingis. They got another 7-footer, kind of a journeyman, but he comes in and helps. All of their bench players just come in and fill their role. It's an unselfish team. White and Holiday don't mind splitting minutes. They play a little bit of high hand. I think that brand of basketball is really, really hard to beat, especially in a series. So, but I don't like the Knicks, and I don't like who you say the Sixers,
Timberwolves, Sixers.
No, it'll be probably Giannis. Giannis will probably be on a revenge tour. So if Boston doesn't make it back, it's because Giannis knocked them out. Over there in the West, you right, Scruff. They did get the favorable matchup with Dallas, but also it was a favorable matchup because that Dallas team beat those other teams. So my money,
Go ahead.
my FanDuel money is on Boston. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it'll be a generous donation to you.
It's all generous on
Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something, bro. I feel you on the Boston point. They have built a great team, man. One thing I do say about Boston, one thing I saw, at least the reason they won tonight. I forget. I had a good word. It was like an SAT level word, but basically they have the same team as last year. You know what I'm saying? They have continuity. There you go. The Knicks didn't have that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of turnover on that team. So it takes time to gel, to get on the same page. Boston has been doing it. But I think the T-Wolves have been building a roster, man. I feel like they've been building a roster. This is the same people that built from the same people, for some of the same producers that brought you the Denver Nuggets. The same ones that got Jokic, you feel me? The same ones that spotted them when they were playing the Taco Bell commercial. They spotted them, bro. Same guy building this team right here, bro. And they built it around Anthony Edwards, bro. And they didn't trade Karl Anthony Towns without a replacement. And I hate to say it, but I'm buying in on all this. I like this team, bro. This is a hell of a team. I'm looking at the team, bro. They got Anthony Edwards. They've really lucked out, bro. They ended up with Gobert. They got Gobert because Gobert is actually a good defensive center. And they had Karl Anthony Towns, bro, who we know is soft, bro. So get him out of there. Now they got Nas Reed. They could play Nas Reed more minutes. Nas Reed is dog. And they got Luke Garza, who been balling. Luka Garza. You remember him from what school was that in the Midwest? The Iowa dude. That dude's nice. He's nice. I know I hated on him, but he's nice. He's nice, bro. And they got a squad, bro.
The good mister feeling a little vindicated over there. Hearing Scruff gush over Luke Garza.
They got Dante DiVincenzo, bro. They got Mike Conley, Rob Dillingham. Great squad, bro. Joe Ingles, McDaniels. They got Jaden McDaniels. I named like 10 guys before I named McDaniels. Come on, bro. And Julius Randle.
I must say,
squad, bro.
You have sold me on that squad. I like some of those names, not Garza, but DiVincenzo, Dillingham, Jaden, like Nas Reed. Like they got some guys that would be legitimate guys on other teams. So I would like
series. Imagine going against that. That could beat Boston. That would give Boston fits. They're deep enough to go against Boston.
They are. I would hate
that team's going to come down to let's just be honest. It's coming down to Anthony Edwards' maturation because they're not all that much better than they were last year, swapping out Cat for Julius Randle. Maybe stylistically it might work better with the
No,
team. If they're not on paper, you're not a whole bunch better for that
bro.
move.
Adding DiVincenzo is such an underrated addition, man.
I like DiVincenzo, but I mean,
Former Buck.
It's addition by subtraction, man. You get more depth, and you got a chance to really make Ant your focal point. Plus, you can't if you're trying to build a new culture, you can't have guys from the old culture, the old regime hanging around, bro. Because Karl Anthony Towns was out there in the regime that was getting beat by Jimmy Butler and the third stringers. You know what I mean? So we ain't forget, bro. The North remembers, bro. So he needed to be out of there, bro. And now they can really, really actually start fresh, bro.
You might have sold me.
And I'll say one more thing too, bro. The Olympics, man. There's always something that happens at the Olympics. You know, Anthony Edwards out there hanging with KD, looking like a little bro. You feel me? Out there, on the boat, hanging around the goats. That shit rub off, man.
That's what it's gonna come down to, bro.
Elevate his game this season, bro. It'll be a major leap for him this season, bro. Bank on it.
It's gonna come down to Ant, bro, because like I'm telling y'all, bro. I watched those playoffs closely last year, and it came down to Ant, bro. Like I'm keeping the buck. He wasn't ready yet, dog. He wasn't ready to take over the game in the moments that it needed to be taken over in. So adding DiVincenzo, great. Swapping Randall for Cat, great. But is Ant ready to go from 24 a game to 29 a game, right? And then making sure it's 35 every time it's a big game. Is he ready to do that yet? We'll find out. And if he is, I think the Timberwolves can compete for that chip. But if not, nah, but they're not. I don't see them as a legitimate championship contender just yet. I think they're on the way, but we're gonna see if it's all on Ant to me, bro. It's all on Ant.
I don't know. A lot of talent, man.
Yeah, no, they do. They got a good squad though. But we're gonna be talking about the NBA a whole bunch here over the next few weeks as the season really ramps up. So we'll leave the NBA for now, and we'll go into the NFL. Some of these NFL topics, man. I'm looking at back at the scores from week 7, and really what it was, in my opinion, week 7 was kind of marred by injuries, man. And that's why I'm gonna remember week 7 of this year about some big injuries that happened in this week, and I want to discuss some of those. So the first one I want to talk about real quick happened to Deshaun Watson, man, in the Browns-Bengals game. Deshaun Watson seemingly popped an ACL, and I don't really want to focus on the injury or the play so much, but I want to focus on the crowd reaction, bro, and the uproar that's come from that. So after Deshaun Watson was injured, the Cleveland Brown fans, I mean, they booed their asses off, bro. Like they showed out with the boos. And I want to ask you guys, is it warranted? Was it justified? And how do we feel about that? A lot of the players came up, spoke up after the game, including Myles Garrett. Jameis Winston had a very passionate speech that he delivered, and I thought that, he made some solid points. I think Nick Chubb said something. A few other players on the Browns kind of spoke up on behalf of Deshaun Watson. So, G, I'm gonna start with you, man, and you gotta unmute yourself. But did you feel like the boos from the crowd were warranted, or did they do a little too much over there in Cleveland?
It's warranted. Think about it, man. You talking about? I was a fan of him going to the Browns just because you heard Chubbs, Amari Cooper, like you thought about that offense, like, yo, you didn't think that he was going to be this much of a player. Like, he wasn't himself. Like, he was a shell of himself. So when you pay a guy the money you paid him, as a fan base, you're expecting to get the same thing you saw from the previous organization. You didn't think that 2 year of not playing would be such a dramatic hit that you're like, yo, what the fuck am I watching? We're losing. We know we're handicapped to you because we know the coach can't bench you because of money that's being paid. The organization can't trade you because what other team is willing to take that kind of money for that kind of lackluster play? No team. So as a fan, the fan in you is just like, yeah, like, dog, what the fuck? Like, it's just like you're shell shocked in the sense you're like, yo, you're booing because like, yo, your last play is that your recent memory. Remember what we say, right? It's not what you did, is what you're doing for us at this point, and he hasn't done nothing. And then you see Joe Flacco going to the Colts, and he's playing great. He's playing better than the starter over there as a quarterback. And so then you're just like, damn, man, with Joe Flacco, we were able to do something. So as the fan in me is just like, yeah, I understand why you're booing, because you're handcuffed to a guy that you can't do nothing with. Mind you just traded his number one offensive weapon and you sent him to the Bills. So what as an organization, what are you telling your fans?
That's a good point. I think it was boos and there were some cheers. Like they were also happy that Deshaun Watson was hurt. It was a crazy moment. And I think you make some good points there, G. Like they're justified. A fan would be justified on a few levels, right? I mean, Deshaun Watson has played terribly. Obviously, he's had the accusations in the past and the settlements and
let's not even bring that up.
And we didn't even bring it. All right, you didn't even mention
gotta
that.
bring it up, G.
Well, you know, because of the fan base, you know him going.
That's
over
part
there.
of why they booing, G. That's the part. That's the main
think
part.
I think the bigger, like I said, is Joe Flacco and the coach played good, and then you have Baker Mayfield, like a phoenix, restarted his whole career again, and you got stuck with that. As a fan, you're sick, and you're watching this guy that you got told he's gonna be the reason why we go to the Super Bowl, and you can't even fucking scratch a playoff win.
Yeah, that's a good point though, G. Because it's like it's really twofold, and I kind of feel you because it's like if they booing at this point, right? They must be booing more for the play than the off the field stuff. You would think, but it's also kind of a messed up moment because like when are we booing in? When are we cheering or like happy about injuries ever as fans? You know what I'm saying? And it's just like that's the moment that it's like maybe they went too far. Scrub seemed like you had something you wanted to get off about that.
Yeah. Honestly, like I think it's a little fucked up that they was cheering, booing, whatever the case may be. But I understand why they was doing that, man. Because like honestly, he was playing bad enough to get benched. So they could have booed him for his play alone. Him getting hurt, man. I mean, this is an expression, man. They say God don't like ugly, and I think that it holds true to the organization and the player here. The Browns they went ugly, man. They went against the grain. And they went and gave a guaranteed contract to this guy because they were so desperate that they bucked everything that was going on in the league, and they changed the way the league is operating as a whole. It gave up a lot of power to the players in the overall structure of contract negotiations across the league by doing so. They get unprecedented to Deshaun Watson at a time who was in, you feel me, legal turmoil, bro. You feel me? Criminal allegations, man. So yeah, that was ugly. And then the whole Deshaun Watson situation, it's ugly, and them ugly ass brown jerseys on top of that. But yeah, just God don't like ugly, man. And then karma, man. Unfortunately for Deshaun Watson, man, like he isn't reaping what he sowed, man. Like for real, like he Lord knows what he was up to. He's been up to for however many years. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Whatever the allegations are, you know what I'm saying? Most likely, he probably did that shit, man. And the fact that they booing him, man, it's just karma coming back to you, man. Like now you suck, bro. You lost your livelihood, bro. And I don't know where he goes from here. And I can see it being a situation where, honestly, the Broncos paid Russell Wilson to leave, and Russell Wilson's balling. But I don't know. Maybe they need to free him from there, and he ends up balling again. But I don't know. I don't see it, man. I think there's a breakup coming soon too. I don't know. I don't know if they stick by him again after this next season when he rehabs. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, that's a good point. T, what do you think as far as the fan reaction to the Deshaun injury, man? Was it justified or was it a little much?
I mean, honestly, I'm morally opposed to kicking a man when he's down, celebrating injury, death, that sort of thing. Even if it is a despicable character, you know what I'm saying? That ain't for me. That's for a higher power or law enforcement or the victim or the victim's family, what have you. But so I thought it was a little disgusting, a little distasteful to be cheering a man get, because you don't have to say anything, right? It's free to just be quiet and watch. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to cheer for that. Celebration in my mind is for good things. We shouldn't celebrate negativity because I'm getting a little deep, but I think it just brings more and more negativity because it's like the universe is telling you, oh, that's what you want. Oh, we can deliver more of that if that's what you're cheering for. So I think they should have did that. Watson probably looks to be a poor person, poor play. So I understand the fan reaction, but again, shouldn't have did it. Hopefully, get well soon, speedy recovery. I think he's done as a quarterback, though. I think that even with that contract, I think the Browns go out and try to find their quarterback of the future. The Amari Cooper trade let me know that they're kind of blowing it up. I mean, he was stinking up the place anyway, so whatever. But it's a team and it's an organization in turmoil. It's an organization that consistently never gets it right. They're in that list. I had the Commanders in. The Lions seem to have worked their way out. The Commanders, they worked their way out, and then I don't know. Now Mariota's their quarterback, so
that has nothing to do with the organizational turmoil, bro.
Yes, it does. Yes, it
All right,
does.
we gonna get to them. We gonna get to them. Let's finish your point on the Browns.
Okay, but that's my point. Like, that's a team that consistently, no matter how many correct decisions, right? Myles Garrett, Nick Chubb, Njoku, some of them cornerbacks, some of them other pieces. Like, no matter how much you do right, you're going to find a way to mess it up. And they found a way to mess it up. And then that player found a way to mess himself up or at least get injured in the game. So, yeah, I think the Browns are done. Watson is done. The next time this team will have a winning record, we'll probably see Quinn Ewers or Raiola or somebody at the helm.
All right. Well, I tend to agree with your point about the fans. I think that was a little, it was a little classless on a certain level. I think to be cheering for an injury or to be promoting that, it's no bueno. But I do understand it from a fan that's been in turmoil like the Browns. I understand that level of anger and I get it, and that vitriol towards one player. I get it, but it's like it was misdirected, right? And I think T, you did some of that well, where it's an organizational thing for a team like the Browns. That's what it needs to be directed at, not towards the quarterback who just popped his Achilles and whose life is basically over as we know it.
Yeah,
go ahead.
6-0 or 7-0 or whatever, it'd be a totally different story.
Good point. Great point. Yeah, if they were good, it'd be totally different. But again, this week in the NFL was marred by injuries, and another one that shook the NFL was Brandon Ayuk of the 49ers, who had a really bad knee injury, man. And this is a player that we talked about a lot during the offseason, right? Because, he had this holdout. And there were people on all sides of this conversation about Brandon Ayuk and his holdout. But ultimately, it is proven that Brandon Ayuk did the right thing by holding out and getting every dollar he could, bro. Because if this injury happened before he got his bread, he would not be getting as much bread. So shout out to Brandon Ayuk and his team for making the right move in hindsight. But with that said, what does this mean for the 49ers? Obviously, they've been without Christian McCaffrey most of the season. Apparently, he may come back in the next 2 to 3 weeks from what I'm hearing. They've got a young receiver, Ricky Pearsall, who they're trying to introduce into the offense. And they're coming off now a loss to the Chiefs in which they didn't look like a team that will be playing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. They just didn't, bro. And, yeah, losing another weapon. What do we think about the 49ers outlook for the rest of the season? T, we'll start with you. So this is your squad.
It's interesting. This is the first time, and I've seen the Kyle Shanahan era, and Kyle hasn't always had winning teams. We've had some random quarterbacks, CJ Beathard and a couple other guys. This is the first 49ers team I've seen lay down. And as a fan, as a former athlete, as a, just a 49ers fan for real, like that struck me. So I don't know if this is a Super Bowl team at this point. Every year I've thought, okay, no matter we get blown out, we've lost games, whatever, when it's time to play, that team will step up and play. This team gave up in what was like a 10-point game. Like, they stopped making tackles. They stopped trying to tackle. They let guys score. I mean, they let Patrick Mahomes truck stick.
I saw that.
And bro is the hardest hitter on our team. And so it kind of just summed up the kind of season we're having, right? Where he made a bunch of plays, blowing guys up all game, all season. And we need to stop. He gets ran over by Patrick Mahomes, dad bod. So it's like, for as much good as the 49ers have done this season, they've done a lot of bad. As a fan, I want to keep them in that contender category, but if I'm being objective, I think you got to pull them out of that contender category, man. Real teams don't lay down, you know what I'm saying, because of a bad game. And that 49ers team absolutely laid down.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it looked that way, but you know, to their, I guess, benefit is the division's not all that strong early on, right? I mean,
no, they'll get there.
The Alts are 4-3. They'll still be in the conversation for the division, most likely come into the season. That seems to be their best bet for a path to the playoffs and possibly further. Scrub, how are you feeling about the 49ers, man? After losing Ayuk, do you think this is like, you know, the wheels on the bus go round and round, but they keep losing wheels, and eventually the bus can't move without wheels, right? Do you think this is the wheel that's going to eventually slow down the 49ers bus?
Not the nursery rhyme that I had in mind. I was thinking more the London Bridge is falling down. You feel me? I feel vindicated, man. I told you guys, the window is closing, bro, closing rapidly. And luck's not on your side, man. So, you know, you got deteriorating joint ligaments. You got the guy that held out and then snapped his ankle immediately after. Bro, luck's not on their side, bro. So what's left? You know, what do we have here? You know, you got a backup running back. Didn't he get hurt too?
He's hurt.
Trying to keep up.
No, Hafanga's hurt. Hargrave's hurt. Debo
Okay, yeah, this is really fucked up this year for you guys. Like, you know what I mean? So you basically got Purdy.
Greenlaw's out.
Yeah, you got Purdy and the Shanahan system and, you know, Debo. So, you know, that's what you got. You know, I don't know what that's going to get you. That might get you in the playoffs, maybe. Who knows? But it's nothing substantive. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I think they're done. You know, I think the window's closed, man.
Still got
I think they're done.
Our kickers hurt too. We're on our backup kicker got hurt the same way on our third kicker. So
Trent Williams still healthy? How Trent going? Trent Williams healthy?
Yeah, but he hasn't been playing that good this year.
Yeah. Damn, man. G, what you think, bro? Is it Scrubbers? That's a little strong. I don't know if it's quite over.
Damn, homie.
I think everyone here is overreacting. I remember the speech 2 weeks ago, what T said about the Seattle game, where it's like, if they get blown out early, it's over for us. If they lose by 3, then we still got the season. And I think just last week is like these guys are facing the demon they just can't beat in the Chiefs. And I think that's what we got to see. Like they saw the demon they just can't beat, and they just couldn't find a way. I think the coaching staff couldn't find a way. And it's Andy Reid coming off a bye. Let's put that in perspective. Andy Reid coming off a bye. My son, I think he lost like one time in the last 10 years coming off a bye. So it's just like, come on now. Let's put everything into perspective. I really think for me to know if their season is over is against Dallas, because Dallas is so far mediocre right now. And if they could beat Dallas with this banged up 49ers team, they're still contenders.
I hear you. But you know, that game reminded me of when the 49ers broke the Eagles. And that, as much as I want to believe it, I don't. That's how.
But that's the thing. But you saw how you guys kept on going. You saw how the Eagles kept on going, all right? They still managed to still beat these bad teams. And you guys are not that bad. You guys still got a strong defense.
I see a similar path for them. I agree. with that assessment. It is similar to that. It's
but
very
it
much.
basically-
So are we all just accepting the fact that the 49ers broke the Eagles? What did this
They
breaking
did.
happen?
They did though. I mean, I never even be admitted to that, but like, yeah, last year after we played the 49ers, the season went downhill, bro. They kind of destroyed us.
But you see, the Eagles made it to the playoffs.
I'm honest. I'm communicating about my feelings, man.
Make
See,
it
at
to
the end
the
of the day, they broke us, and that's why I hate the 49ers. That's why I'm so happy that your window is closing.
I think
I don't think it's close. Be optimistic. Remember that year where y'all lost Nick Bosa and y'all ended up having a better draft pick and y'all like retooled y'all whole defense and offense. I think that either if that happens this year, then your window's still open. And if y'all get McCaffrey, I think that's what y'all really need. Y'all need that spark that y'all haven't had in y'all building for so long. Like, look, with McCaffrey on the field, the rest of your offense went. And then when you guys inserted backups, they look good. I think what y'all really need is y'all need that spark. Y'all need to make a trade for some kind of offensive weapon and just pray to God that McCaffrey could come Thanksgiving weekend. And I think everything will start settling itself because Greenlaw's supposed to be coming back in December, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just like everything is gonna be accordingly. But I think it's just you guys just seen the depth. It's like y'all seen that bully y'all can't beat. You know how you see that bully in the corner? You're like, nah, I'm gonna just take this left turn real quick. I don't need to go around that way. I'm gonna take the long way to get to the house. And that's what's happening with you guys. Y'all took the long way to get to the crib. Y'all went the first 2 quarters, y'all thought y'all had something, and then come halftime, like damn.
I don't want to spend too much time on it, but the Chiefs are also hurt. They're also missing running back, missing receiver.
Yeah, but they got the one thing that you guys can't beat is Patrick Mahomes.
Bro, we can't beat Andy Reid, man. Like
y'all can't beat Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Y'all can't beat that duo. And that's the one thing the league can't figure that out the last 2 years. And I don't know what we're gonna sit here and be like, well, because they can't figure it out, their shit is over with. The league can't figure that out.
No, I think you make a good point there, G. The league has had an issue with Mahomes and those guys for some years now. But it's not just them that the Niners have struggled with this season, right? I mean, they also lost to the Jets, right? I mean, lost to the
beat
Rams.
the Jets.
Beat the Jets.
I'm sorry, beat the Jets. My bad. Lost to the Rams, who
looked like that's the conference. That's the conference. Come on now.
Cardinals.
The Eagles lost to the Giants last year with Danny DeVito. What are we talking about?
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point. I think the Niners still got a shot. Again, I think Christian McCaffrey coming back, if he is able to come back in the next week or two, that would be right on time for a team that's in desperate need of a weapon right now.
Bro, you ever held uncooked spaghetti?
Yes.
That's his Achilles.
Oof.
Who?
Ugh.
McCaffrey Achilles, bro. Them things they're ready to go.
Well, we're gonna wish the
That's
best.
What they're saying now?
Nah, T just talk shit, man. But we
I'm about to say, Jesus Christ.
No, they're not saying it's
I heard it was bad, but I didn't think it was that
I don't
bad.
throw out injury predictions lightly. You know what I'm saying?
We'll see. We'll see if he's able to come back. I've heard 2 to 3 weeks.
They say he got degenerate knees.
Maybe.
Again,
week 7 was marred by injuries, man. The last one I want to discuss before we get out of here is the quarterback, the Washington Commanders, Jaden Daniels, man. He's been on a tear. Won like every rookie of the week except one this year, but got hurt. Got hurt on a 50-yard run against the Panthers, in which it seemed like he was trying to squeeze the lemon a little too much, get every yard he could when he probably could have took the sideline route, ended up getting out of bounds without getting hurt. But let's talk about Jaden Daniels and where this leaves the Commanders. Marcus Mariota came into the game, finished it strong, still blew out the Panthers, beat them by over 30 points. But Commanders got the Bears next week. We were supposed to get the rookie showdown between Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams. Now we're likely to get Caleb Williams versus Marcus Mariota. And we're talking about a team like the Commanders who big reason they were winning, the largest reason they were winning was Jaden Daniels. what does this mean for their season? Obviously depending on how many games he missed, but what are we thinking for the Commander season now? And I also want to elaborate on T's earlier point where he said this is somehow an organizational. I don't know what he was getting at with that, but somehow this is on the organization. So T, we'll start with you on this one since you got to clear that up.
I mean, this is something that may be supernatural, something that may be related to natives. You know what I'm saying? The natives, the original people of this land that we are on now. But the name change seemingly has brought you a bit of luck. But I don't take it as coincidence when I start hearing fans say, "Hey, we winning, change the name back."
Bro, this guy, man.
Okay. Hey, listen,
Hey, bro. I thought you were about to have a real reason over here, man. We reach it. We reach it.
bro. If I was on Joe Rogan, you would take this serious. But because I'm on gas, okay, you know what I'm saying? The good ass sports show, they don't want to hear it. This is what it is. You got a good thing going, and people want to change up the recipe. Leave the name. He'll write up and he'll take back off and he'll get that defensive rookie of the year, and I'll get paid on FanDuel. But if you guys start pulling your left hand down and trying to change the name back and HTTR, bro, I'm not gonna win that. I'm not gonna win that bet. All right.
That's hilarious, man. There was a joke, and I'm tempted to not say it because it's slightly racist. So apologies in advance. But there was a joke back when the world was less correct. There was a joke that used to go around.
Say
There's
it.
a joke that used to go around in Redskins country where they would say, like, when the Redskins were doing bad, right, they would blame it on the natives, right? People would say, oh, they're banging the drum, right? Meaning that, like, they were doing their rituals, right, to make sure the team would lose. And that's what people would say, some fans would say, when the Redskins were going through their terrible, terrible times under Dan Snyder's ownership, that the natives were banging the drum. But I think that's what T's kind of getting at, right? There's a little juju still in the air, a little karma, so to speak.
I do have a regular sports take. He was bound to get hurt. He took a lot of big hits in college. That was the knock. That was the scare, the warning. That's what people were afraid of. And he slid for the first time ever. I seen the game before last, maybe.
No, he slid like the second game of the season. He slid.
Okay, well, I hadn't seen it before that, but clearly he's just out there playing. Like, that's what you want to see from a young player. But also, you want to see a young player understand his value, his position, his value to that organization, to the city, and just protect himself a little more. I think he'll be fine. Them ribs will heal up, and you'll start seeing him not try to get the 70-yard run. Sometimes you just get the 30 or 40. But I think he'll be fine. Mariota, question marks. Cliff Kingsbury, second half of the season. Question marks. I already told you where I thought this thing was headed anyway, so we'll see.
You've been holding on strong to the Cliff Kingsbury second half of the season debate here, and my counter to that will be that was Cliff Kingsbury as a head coach, not as offensive coordinator. So I'm gonna try to hold on to that and hope that that's the reason. Let's go with G. What you thinking about Jaden Daniels' injury and where that leaves the Washington Commanders now?
It's just a rib injury. Nothing broke. It's just like a rib scare, basically, because he's like, they just don't want him to get hurt. They don't want the whole RG3 situation going back on. Am I reading this correct?
Yeah, it seems like what it is. Like, but we still, they're being a little vague with the injury. But the fact that he got injured at all, man, do you think that's a red flag?
It's a part of the sports, man. What the fuck are we talking about, man? It's football. This ain't fucking basketball. This ain't no cupcake sport. Guys are gonna get hurt. Guys are gonna get hurt either the first, the last minute, the first 3 seconds of this freaking game. Guys are gonna get hurt. It's a contact sport, and it just so happened to be it was a rib shot. That's why they got pads for that. Man, you guys are trying to make something out of nothing. It's fine, man. And if he misses a game or two, good. At least you know when he comes back, it should be somewhat well rested, enough that he could take it. That he could play longer. But besides that, there's nothing to worry about. Unless it's like a knee injury, at that point it's just like, all right, man, hold the fuck up. What is going on? Just a rib injury. Remember when that Prescott had that whole bruised knee shit, the bruised ribs, I mean, and then he started talking about the pads. Oh, these guys got rib pads. Oh, man, listen, it's not make something out of nothing. You guys are gonna be okay. You guys have been playing well. Like semi-decent plays and made them even better. I mean, Tika only know about Kingsbury because he was a Cardinals. He was coaching the Cardinals, so I guess Tika know a little bit more about that offensive calling. It's becoming repetitive, so I guess defenses are actually reading it a lot better now. It's so much that athleticism could take offensive calling to another level. So, and then on top of that, he played the fucking Panthers. They played the worst team in SEC football.
Still ain't beat nobody.
Yeah, it's like how you guys are talking about Caleb Williams. The Bears are 5-2, but they haven't beaten nobody. And what? Now it's about to be the turning point of the season when all these bad teams are actually going to start losing to good teams.
They about to beat the Commanders.
I'm about to say that, but after this week, they still wouldn't have beat nobody.
Yeah, I mean, I got the Commanders winning this week. I'm not taking the fucking Bears.
I'm
not listening to your picks, bro. Your
Listen,
picks suck.
Commanders over the Bears, man. I don't care who starts a quarterback. Commanders over the Bears.
Yeah, you're right about that, Scruff. Now I got to rethink my position.
Nah, but here's the thing, though, man. With this whole Jaden Daniels thing, man. I mean, it's concerning. I'll say that it's slightly concerning. You don't want to get carried away with this whole shit, but like you want to see the guy protect himself. He needs to follow. Y'all saying he had higher trajectory than Lamar Jackson is what Rome said to me a couple weeks ago.
I ain't say that, bro. I was telling niggas. I was telling those horses with that.
Yeah, he said he had a higher trajectory and he ain't the first person. I heard that a couple times.
I feel where that's coming from. I'm not there.
I feel where it's coming from too. But he needs to take a page out of Lamar Jackson's book because Lamar Jackson doesn't get hit like that all the time, bro. He's actually pretty good about protecting himself despite him being slight of frame. So you got to be able to protect yourself. You got to go out of bounds. You got to slide. You got to take the yards. Like you can't be out here trying to squeeze for every extra yard. And like, shit, man, you might as well just go ahead and take a knee, slide down. Go ahead, like, you know what I'm saying? Protect yourself, man. The rib thing is concerning too. Rib injury, quarterback, it's a lingering injury, man. It's a wear and tear injury. It's gonna wear on him throughout the season. It could wear, I don't like that. It's giving, frail, rib injury. He gets hits once and he's got a rib injury. Like, whoa, no, not what they know. They say, people gonna say the critics gonna say he was slight of frame. Oh, we told you he was too skinny. He out here running around, he's skinny. Now he got a rib injury, he frail. Like, that's what it looks like, bro. That's the optics.
All right. I hear that. I guess that is the optics. A couple points I got to make, though. I think that this season that Jaden Daniels has been good at protecting himself. He hasn't taken a lot of big hits on the NFL level. I think before this, there was probably one hit that I was like, he didn't need to take, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This one was a little more fluke than I think folks are realizing, and I think he did a decent job actually protecting himself. Really, I think the problem with this play was that he tried to protect himself. He tried to slide where he should have just braced himself for a hit. And if you watch the play, at the end he tries to slide, but doesn't see a defender coming from his blind spot. So the defender that took him down, he never really saw until the very end, and by that time he was already going into his slide motion. And that's so his body was kind of prone, you know what I'm saying? Like it was kind of like he wasn't like bracing for contact, and that really what set him up. But I hear what you're saying, though, Scruff. It was ugly, and it did look. I understand anyone pointing back to that slighter frame in this draft breakdown and calling him frail at this point. You can't argue that right now. But he's got some time to prove those doubters wrong.
By chance, is he working with Dr. James Cameron?
I don't know. It was Andrews. He might be with. Hope he's not with James Cameron, James Andrews.
That's
Whenever I see Dr. James Andrews, I know a nigga about to
That's
come
what
up with a bionic shoulder or
my bad.
or a
James
big
Cameron
stupid
is
brace.
retarded. You know who I'm talking about, though.
Yeah, big stupid brace on their knee that Joe don't even. Nah, James Andrews be on. Remember that doctor? Remember the black doctor that was faking about Malachi something in the little
Yeah.
glasses? That's what
Doctor name is Chow.
That's what James Andrews on, man. I don't know where he went to school.
The doctor's name is Dr. Chow.
Okay. Oh, he would Dr. Child.
Yeah, Dr. Chow.
Yo, you act like they know these doctors. So he's
I'm familiar with Dr. Child.
They know the doctors is crazy. You were in the trenches, my boy.
I looked this up. I just Googled it, bro.
All right.
Man, know the doctors. He know the time. He knows the recovery timetable based off the doctor they got. Oh, you got Dr. Andrews? He out for 6 weeks, bro. Dr. Andrews.
David J. Chow, actually. See, this is what you do when you read articles and you look at the quotes and you see what the name on the quote is. That's real journalism right there.
Oh, David Child's legit, man. I actually haven't seen David Child misdiagnose a guy just from Twitter clips. You can send him Twitter clips and he'll tell you.
It's funny to see you serious too.
No, I'm dead serious. Bro, I went down the doctor rabbit hole so much that I found out something that the fans might need to know. Everybody might need to know this. Certain antibiotics, because I was, Christian McCaffrey, certain antibiotics can literally sever your Achilles tendons. Crazy.
Oh, man, what kind of dark witchcraft you on, man?
It's not dark, bro.
Oh, he got a Twitter account too. He be putting all the injuries out there.
Resistant to penicillin, amoxicillin, things like that. There's like 3 of them that they're so strong that they can inflame certain joints and ligaments, and the Achilles are prone to just sever. And I saw somebody say that dad took this antibiotic, didn't even walk, and tore his Achilles laying in bed. And so I was wondering if that's what happened to McCaffrey, like how you get 2 sore Achilles, but could just be overworked. He's been working since he's a kid. Pro dad, could just be wear and tear. But if it was I was looking to start a class action suit. That's all.
I mean, he sounded kind of like Lonzo Ball shit for real.
Achilles is one of those interesting body parts, man. You can just touch your Achilles you just touch the back of your heel. You can feel how that small little piece really holding everything together, bro. Like I don't even like feeling my own Achilles. They're just like, I don't know, bro. That shit is wild, man. That little tiny piece of tendon right there means so much, bro.
Nah, facts. You be walking like a primate,
Yeah, that's hilarious.
They say Dr. Chow got a chaotic past, though.
He was out.
We're not about the TMZ Dr. Chow now, man. All right, let's Dr. Chow. Let's not get on. On Chow.
I went on a whole deep dive on Dr. Chow.
Dr. Chow was out of the league for a while, so
I'll share the article with the group, but we ain't gonna blast him on air.
Nah, we ain't about kicking a man while he's down.
Salute Dr. Chow. You out here getting money.
They could never make me hate Dr. Chow.
Yeah, shit.
I heard Dr. Chow giving out the veneers too if you need them, man.
Go ahead.
Man.
Hey, yo.
Chow, CHOW.
Hey, man, good stuff tonight, fellas, as always. Y'all know how we in each and every show, man. Sports for the culture.
Go Yankees.
Sports